believe if they cannot get him help, he will not live to see his 24th birthday. These words are by Paul Manziel, father of former Cleveland Browns quarterback Johnny Manziel. What a hard thing to hear from a father who has provided a privileged household to his son and ample opportunities to succeed. But could this very well be the reason why Johnny Manziel has gone from having it all to nearly losing it all by his own actions? This is what I would like to discuss with you today. Johnny's childhood of privilege could very well be the main reason why he is no longer on the Cleveland Browns and why he is tabloid fire. As someone who has grown up watching Johnny Manziel tear apart the Alabama's #1 ranked team in the country, I have come to root for him to do well in his life. Being that Johnny and I are about the same age, with him 23 and me 24, he has come to be an example for people like me and my friends. To understand just how Johnny has gotten himself into recent trouble, I'd like to look at these 3 areas: his high school years, his stint in college, and his NFL life. So let's go to where he went to high school, Texas. Johnny is the son of a wealthy oil family in Texas, and if you had any football talent, like Johnny sure did, Texas was exactly where you wanted to be. In Texas, football isn't just a sport or an extracurricular activity like it is here in the Midwest. It's a religion. Johnny was the wealthy varsity quarterback of a Texas high school football team. He would go on to gain recognition all around the country his senior year, racking up 45 touchdowns and 30 rushing touchdowns. Johnny was the MVP, so when his senior year ended, it was time for Johnny to have his pick of the litter when it came to colleges. Johnny was recruited by Oregon, Baylor, Stanford, but decided to stay in Texas and go to the Texas A&M University. Why Texas over a place like Oregon, you may ask? Well, I believe Johnny wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to leave the nest and be his own person. He knew if he stayed in Texas, he would be the state's icon, and he was right. He upset #1 Alabama, he won the Heisman, and he would shatter records. But with all the great came some bad as well. Having been marketed Johnny Football by ESPN and other media, Johnny behaved in a matter of entitlement. Johnny's ego and disrespect was at an all-time high. Johnny would be seen celebrating in the faces of opponents and making gestures like the money gesture. His reckless behavior on the field and ignorance to his coach, Kevin Sublin, was exuberant. Johnny was suspended for half a game, but even this was a watered-down punishment for Johnny. People wanted Johnny back, and voila! Everything worked out, and Johnny went back to playing ball. It also didn't help that Johnny's parents enabled his behavior. While in college, Johnny got into a fight. Johnny was arrested and booked for multiple infractions, but his family quickly got a lawyer and deferred the case. Johnny appealed the case with help from his coaches, and he was soon allowed to play. Johnny eventually would go on to join the NFL and be drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Having to move away from mom and dad, friends, and Texas fans alike, Johnny's test had begun. Johnny found himself in a bad environment right away with the Cleveland Browns, a team associated for years with losing. Johnny was not associated with losing. So with the feeling of loss, the lack of attention, and negative influences on the team, Johnny was no longer having fun playing football, and he soon found himself in trouble. I had asked the audience if they knew all the troubles that Johnny Manziel got into since joining the NFL, and they were familiar with a few. So here's the exact timeline of Johnny's problems. In 2014, Johnny was fined for an obscene gesture. He was accused of assault in November 2014. He entered rehab in January, and he was speeding with a girlfriend mentioning abuse. He was released by the Cleveland Browns, indicted for domestic assault, and then booked on misdemeanor assault. All of this is what came from a child who grew up never really having been told no. Johnny was privileged enough to know that he did not know how to admit being wrong or needing help. I asked the audience how much of an impact they thought being privileged had over Johnny's behavior, and they believe it very much altered it. So do I, sadly. Johnny's fall from grace is heavily influenced by privilege. Whether it be the appointed alpha dog in high school, the minuscule punishment in college, or the little repercussions that NFL athletes receive from serious issues such as domestic abuse, Johnny has received a pre-pass pretty much. Again, for Johnny's dad, Paul, to express publicly that he's worried his privileged son, will not live to see his ever nearing 24th birthday, it's heartbreaking and truly a testament to just how out of control Johnny truly is. Hopefully, Johnny realizes how many people care to see him do well, like his parents, old teachers, childhood friends, and 24-year-olds like me.